This is exactly what motivates me to stay in the industry. No one is targeting us. We are not interesting to attackers. Sometimes this happens. One careless click in your accounting department and all your funds land directly in the hands of cybercriminals.
Everyone says security is a priority. How often do you actually hear, "Can we skip security to lunch faster?"
Contrary to popular belief, this doesn't happen very often. It may have been common 10 to 15 years ago, but today product teams have learned not to bypass security, likely through hard-earned experience. When deadlines are tight and we need to balance security with delivery speed, we focus on distinguishing real risks from perceived ones. This, in turn, pushes us in security to be more pragmatic and business-oriented. We are doing our company a disservice if we insist on postponing a release because of a minor issue.
What's the biggest security risk that business teams usually don't take seriously but should?
Today, I would say it is to underestimating supply chain security. For a long time, these issues were quietly swept under the carpet, almost since the beginning of the computing era. Many high-profile cyber attacks have exploited some form of supply chain abuse. As a result, these risks blur a company's attack surface to the point of significant uncertainty. Today, awareness of the issue is much higher thanks to media coverage, public security research, and increased transparency. However, when it comes to assessing supply chain and third-party risks, they are still often underestimated, if not ignored entirely. Just think about the last time developers used an unknown library from GitHub, or analysts uploaded sensitive data to unvetted online analytics service. These are all examples of supply chain risks in practice.
Have you ever had to say no to a business decision that looked great commercially but was a security nightmare?
Actually, yes, sometimes this happens. Usually it happens during the initial phase of discussion, when we have a clear understanding that certain feature cannot be implemented securely, no matter how hard we try. And sometimes such insecure by nature features are dropped because of security concerns.
What's the most dangerous myth about cybersecurity that executives still believe?
5 to 10 years ago, I would have answered that the biggest misconception was the belief that no one is targeting us. We are not interesting to attackers. Recently, we saw dramatic change in perception, and we don't hear it anymore in the industry. The dangerous myth that still occasionally persists among executives is that security is solely the responsibility of IT and security departments. In reality, we should always remember that cybersecurity is only part of a broader corporate security. And even cybersecurity extends beyond IT and technology, involving the entire organization. One careless click in your accounting department and all your funds land directly in the hands of cybercriminals.
If nothing ever gets hacked, how do you prove that cybersecurity is working at all?
Well, if nothing gets hacked, then there are 3 possible explanations. Everything is properly secured, no one is attacking, or we simply haven't detected the attack yet. Of course, we rely on security controls with business-oriented metrics and evidence. Also, highlighting prevented issues helps a lot. And surprisingly, proving that security works has become easier thanks to media attention to cybersecurity. Just recall all those headlines of major data breaches or extremely severe vulnerabilities that get widely exploited. When others are being compromised through a known vulnerability and we are not, it shows that our security measures are effective.
What's worse for you as a security leader? A fast product team that ignores risks, or a slow one that over-secures everything?
I think I'll be Captain Obvious if I tell you that these are 2 extremes that should both be avoided. When we talk about real risk, especially in conservative, traditional businesses, a slower and more security-focused approach often has a better chance of survival. After all, what's the value of the fastest time to market if a new feature is hacked, customer data is exposed, funds are drained, and the business fails as a result?
Is there a security rule that everyone breaks, including people who know better?
Several examples come to mind, but the most harmless one is probably violating the rule: use different password for every website. While most people are aware of this best practice, many still violate it, sometimes with a reasonable understanding of the actual risk. In practice, people intuitively distinguish between services they use once and never share sensitive data with, and those that truly matter. In such cases, strict password hygiene may offer little practical benefit, which explains why this rule is often ignored.
What security incident, without details, changed the way you personally think about risks forever?
Quite a long time ago, I witnessed a security incident unfold because the company I assessed had an overly strict security policy. Some controls were so inconvenient and unnecessarily restrictive that people routinely requested exemptions. In practice, the exception rate was close to 100%. So the control wasn't actually implemented anywhere. They had regular minor to medium incident happening because of that, until eventually a severe data breach happened. There were a lot of lessons to learn. First, unrealistic security policies and expectations. Second, loose policy enforcement. Third, ignoring almost 100% exception rate from the policy. It just felt better to have it written rather than implement some less restrictive but working controls. So this case pushed me to adopt a different mental model and to think about security and risks in a more practical, outcome-driven way.
5 years in one company and one industry. What's harder, keeping systems secure or keeping people security aware?
In practice, both are equally challenging. Technology evolves continuously, teams change, and employee turnover gradually erodes security awareness, especially during long periods without visible incidents. Security, therefore, requires constant maintenance, patching systems, keeping configuration standard current, training new employees, revisiting policies, and designing controls. Some of these controls protect systems from technical attacks, while others address threats that target people.
Honest question. Have you ever thought, this industry is too risky, why am I even here?
Well, this is exactly what motivates me to stay in the industry. We always have something new to learn. We need to stay up to date with both technology and cybercrime trends. That's the real drive here in security.